Hi YouTube. So I am making this video. I had a few friends request for me to make a video about cloth menstrual pads or mama cloth. So this has been a long time coming. I've made a few and shared them with them and then took them down. But I've had a lot of friends asking about what we use for our cloth pads here at our house. I have two teenage daughters. Yes, I love some of those name brand companies, and I do have some of those, but when you have two teenage daughters and we're trying to instill the usage of mama cloth or cloth pads, it gets a little expensive to buy. So we thought it is all about helping the environment and making use of what we have. So I was going to share a little bit. I have zero sewing skills. If I can do this, anybody can do this. So I'm going to start a little bit and show you some of the things that I've used. We are big with flannel. Family members give us their old pajamas, flannel pajamas, things of that nature. I actually got the pattern to make this. Again, do not make fun of my sewing skills because I am not a seamstress. However, this one is one of my daughters, and I made 3 of these for her using different patterns and experimenting. So I can share a little bit later about the person that I found on YouTube. YouTube was great in helping me learn to sew these. So I just kind of watched what they did, trial and error, used an old pair of pajama pants that were in the rag bag, and these are actually her favorites. I've bought a few for her from a affordable seller on eBay. However, the ones I've made for her that I think are crummy with sew-on snaps that are really bad, she loves. So these, I used a pattern from a disposable pad that I had, and I just laid it out and traced around it and made it a little bit bigger for seam allowance, and that's what I used on these 3 that I made for her. They have the wings. On these, I actually did sew-on snaps because they were very cheap, very affordable. However, a pain in the rump. So will not be using sew-on snaps ever again. I did use them though, didn't toss them. So what this is I cut out of the pajama pants exactly as many as I could get for front and back. It's one piece, including the wing. I then took the thinner strips of some of the cloth I had left, and I folded it in half and sewed it to the back, and that is what the padding is. So these are front and back of flannel, and inside probably 4 layers of flannel. These have never leaked when she's used them, and she loves them. So we have about 3 different sizes, and sorry, that one's stained, just ignore. She'll kill me when she knows this is online. Oh well. I'm the mom. So absolutely do not throw away old flannel pajama pants, and do not think that you cannot sew a menstrual pad if this is what you truly want to try. It's no investment. You could even sew these by hand with a needle and thread. It doesn't really matter. My stitching, let me see, is awful. My grandmother is turning in her grave. She taught me better, but yeah, I never paid attention. So my stitching is crummy, but it works. So I also have, if you ever have any of these fleece blankets laying around, often I have seen these at Goodwill for $1. If you like the fleece, wonderful to use. Wonderful to use as the liners. These are just 2-sided. traced around a liner, and went to work. I have 3 of these. Actually, again, I did in the beginning buy Glad rags, and my daughter uses these as inserts. Another flannel. So you can do this, and it's going to cost you nothing. And I think that's the point of saving our environment. Not that I don't have the name brand, I have some of those too. So moving on, I'm going to make this really quick. I'm going to kind of show a little bit of the ones I've made, and if you have questions, feel free to ask. I can do reviews later on the products that I have purchased name brand. So these are some of the others that I made. I did go to a fabric store, Joann Fabric, when they had their huge flannel sale, and I think I paid each yard, which I have a just a plain fabric and then the patterned fabric, I think I paid $2.50 a yard for these. No, they're not the high quality flannel, but these pads are over a year old and still using them. And when I grab for one, these are still the ones that I grab. Yes, trial and error. A couple of them I have double snaps, so I can snap over. To sew these, again, flannel front and back. Inside, I did purchase a yard of the PUL. If you don't like that, you don't have to purchase it. And then I did the hammer-on snaps. Lesson learned. No more sewing snaps. My pattern, of course, I didn't buy online. I made it myself out of our recycled boxes. Yes, it looks huge. Seam allowance. Sometimes if I'm, depending on who I'm making these for, I just made some for a friend who really, really wants to start using cloth, cannot afford to start buying the name brands. So I made her a package, a little care package. She cried when she got it. She was so excited. Made her some of these. Yet again, whatever flannel you have laying around. This one is really thin, made it like a liner. There is only one layer of flannel inside, the front and the back, and a PUL with a hammer-on snap. So, actually holds a lot. Sent her some of these. This one's a little bit thicker. It has inside the terry cloth, and I will show you that really quick. Again, flannel front and back, and I'll show you how I sewed that together. This has terry cloth in the middle, which I have found is very absorbent. Never, ever have I had a leak with any of mine. Never. And as you can tell, I prefer longer, and so heavier flow pads because I'm old. Let's face it, it's happening. So, anywho, great, love these. Show you how I started. I'm going to try to adjust this a little bit. See, you know, showing my age here on national internet, worldwide internet. Okay, so this is how I started. I cut out my pieces. So I cut out, folded my fabric, saves cutting, so I can get as little cutting time as possible. Don't have much time. 4 kids from the ages of 20 to 10. We're busy, let's face it. Cut out my PUL. Yes, I prefer PUL. It's a security thing. Cut out my back pieces. And this is how it goes together. Just like a little puzzle. So, I have tried different methods of sewing. Some things may work for some people, other things may work for different sets of people. I prefer this method. You can do what you wish. Try again. That's the whole point. Nothing suits all of us, not one thing. So, back piece, PUL, shiny side towards your body. I believe. Haven't put these together in a while. And an old terry cloth towel. Cut out my pieces. Yes, it looks huge because this is the way I prefer it. I've also found sewing is really bad when you're a perfectionist. It's just, it can be a nightmare. So use exactly what I have. I think I used to trace these one of my children's crayons. So cut these out. This is how I put it together, just like this. I use my machine. I start right in the middle, and I make a zigzag seam through everything. I have tried other ways. I've tried sewing the edges, completely sewing the PUL to this. I find it bunches up when I wash it. This one did that a little bit. I kind of hadn't sewed them in a while. So I kind of went around the edge and sewed it all together, and now when I'm washing it, if you can see, it's trying to bunch. Yes, I pull it when I dry it. It just isn't working as well. So that is my suggestion, is I take this. This is the back side that goes against the panty, so you don't see your zigzag. But you can see all of these had the zigzags, which I sewed that one in a square. So I take these, put them all together, back side, PUL, piece of terry, sew it down the middle, trim it up. Then I take my front piece that I had here and let go of. Put the front piece on top. I'm trying to get this where you can see it all. And then I start on the bottom corner. Now this would be all trimmed before I sew it. I start on the bottom corner and I sew up and around and around and around. That is if you want it top stitched. I do not. These are not top stitched. These are turned, sewn and turned. So if that's the case, you're going to lay the front up against your back, front, so front to front. Sew all around the edges, and I start again at the bottom corner. So when I sew up, I come all around, I sew around, I come back down, I sew over a little, and then there's just a little piece open. Stick my fingers in there, work it around, turn it right side out. A ruler is awesome. If I can keep my children from running away with them, they disappear into no man's land. Take the ruler, stick it up through your turned pad, so it'll be all sewn and you won't see all this. It's going to feel kind of bumpy. Kind of stick it around, really get it into the wing, and it's flat. It's perfect. Then just kind of turn your bottom under and sew. It works. We're still using them after a year. I cannot tell you how many pads we have sewn, and it has probably cost me $15 because we've used items, the little fleece blankets that my daughter used to have tons of that were just in a box. We have made the liners out of those. We've made the flannel inserts. We have just kind of put them together with what we had. Not perfect. Figure out what works for you. It's all about saving money and the environment, and it's great. And I'm sorry, but when you have 2 teenagers in the house, you do what you got to do. No way. I would love to go online and be able to purchase, you know, a $15 pad for all of us. It's just not possible. My niece has started using these. I've been mailing them to her. I can't sew fast enough. I'm a working mom. So the terry cloth does get a little messy, as a warning. And if you have dark wood floors like I do, you can see it everywhere. So tape is great. Tape will pick it up so the dogs don't roll in it. But that's all I have. Feel free to ask me questions. Let me know if you want to see something else. Currently, our house is on the market, so if that ever settles down, Maybe I can drag my machine back out and kind of show you how I sew these together, because I think it's great for you to start, and do not say you can't sew. Like I said, if I can do it, you can do it. It'll be fine. And it's kind of fun. So let me know if you have any questions. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.